dry run. Sip and paint. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So, I've started teaching sip and paint. We call it cockpits and canvas is what we call it. Only done one so far. My second one will be tomorrow night. And this is the piece that we're going to be doing. So this is my dry run of painting it and just kind of getting a feel for how I'm going to lay it out and get everybody else to paint it. Here is the color assortment we're using. We've got blue, green, purple, yellow, brown, orange, and red. And then I've got some white and black over there too. And just some really basic brushes. It's nothing super complicated. Just a blue wash in the sky. This is like always a good chance for you to add some texture or movement with your brush strokes. You can get the illusion of clouds. It's easier to turn it. Paint it this way. By all means, do that. These are canvas panels, so you don't have to worry about getting the edges too much. There's not much of an edge to get. Lets me get a feel for, hey y'all, how's it going? This is a sip and paint practice I'm going to be doing tomorrow night when I instruct. So, you're watching me go through the trial run. We're just throwing down the sky here. My last sip and paint, I think, had too much sky. Not enough going on in it, so this one I'm trying to make a little busier. This is a good chance to get some texture going. And yes, I'm doing it sideways. We've got the sky sideways because it's just kind of easier to do it that way. And then I'll flip it up. The top edge a little bit. This is just the background. I kind of like how it's looking. I still have to get the edges, even though there's not much of an edge. I don't like that little bit of white I can see. think a wrapped piece looks a lot more finished. That's just me. You can do yours however you want to. Because that's what art is about. I think that's where inspiration comes from, is seeing something and kind of like making it your own. I mean, the sip-in paints are set up to be like that. Kind of like people who want instruction to follow, but I give options in my sip-in paints. Okay, so got that laid down. The next thing we're throwing down is some green on the bottom. These are just gonna be our two main base background colors. I like to do the biggest block of color first as a background color so it has time to dry. I found out it's important at these events to space things out a little bit. So you want to make sure that you do a little talking in between and allow time for this to dry. Ooh, we got a little fun green splatter there. Then the layering process goes a lot easier when you just get these two big background blocks on and dry. We're going with a springy little kind of theme here. I'm kind of keeping it a surprise. Thanks if you popped in and checked things out. Alright. Now, for texture purposes, I want... See, I have the blue going back and forth this way, and I want the green to be up and down. So, I'm going to go like this. Pull it up. And see, that's what happens. You get a little bit of smearing there whenever it's not completely dry. But do we mind that? Maybe not. Let's go ahead with it and see what happens. We're getting a little bit too much blue in there. I think we're gonna wait a minute until it dries. It's also very important when you're painting to have your paint water cup be different from your drink. So I like to just drink something out of a can. This is one of those like sugar-free, like bubbly drinks. But yeah, it's the only way that I don't get my paint water mixed up with what I'm actually drinking. Because you only really want to do that once. So do you guys want to see what we're actually painting, or do you want it to be a surprise? Because I've got the rough sketch over here of what I'm doing. But I didn't know if you wanted it to be a surprise or not. Because, you know, once I show you, it's like, you know, the surprise is over. It's pretty wet at the top still. I could start painting with the fan out here. The fan would dry it much faster. Alright, we're gonna get back in here with this green right here. Get that up there. We're gonna go with it mixing a little with the blue. That's fine. It's gonna add a little something to it. I like it. are going to need more green. Not there. There, it's pretty dry on that side. And put that in there. Alright, we want it to look kind of grassy. We're working with sky and grass. Dry if I keep doing that. Now is it? But okay. Alright, so here we are so far. We've got our grassy. Grassy bottom. Blue sky top. Nobody commented whether you wanted it to be a surprise or not, but this is what we're going for. This is the sip-in paint design that I'm going for. So it's going to be a nice little simple springy kind of fantasy sort of mushroom flower bee sun thing. The last sip-in paint that I did, I don't think I filled the canvas quite enough. After I looked at it, seemed like there was a lot of like empty space, but it was the first one that I'd done in a long time. So I think this design is going to be better. It's going to be some of the same people there, so hopefully they like this. It'll be a little more going on. And I like doing stuff where you can like adjust things, you know, they can control, once we put the mushroom and the sun in, they can decide how many flowers they want, or how many bees they want, or, you know, if they want to do a butterfly instead or something like that. So I usually give creative freedom as far as that's concerned. So I think we'll do the mushroom next. We want to mix some brown, a little bit of orange, and white. That should kind of give me what I'm after here. Kind of like a mushroomy sort of color. use a little bit of old-fashioned color removal. I'm gonna make sure I give the class paper towels. And we're gonna teach them about the moving paint. There's a technique also, of course, where you paint the things in the foreground first, like we would paint the mushroom first in the sun and we put the background in after that. But I don't really enjoy doing that technique as much. I like this. This gets me to where I want to be faster. I think this needs to be lighter. Yeah, I think that needs to be lighter. We need more light in that. Again, this is a good chance to add a little bit of texture. A bit of highlight, so it gives it just a bit of dimension. Keeping in mind it's supposed to be a mushroom in nature, so it doesn't need to be perfect. So we used a smaller brush for that. Now we're gonna go back in with a slightly bigger brush because we're gonna do, this is dry now. So we're gonna do the red of the mushroom top. Shake the bait, shake the bait. Hey y'all, thanks for popping by. How's it going? Oh, here's what I'm painting. This is just like a simple little design I'm doing for my paint and sip that I'm hosting tomorrow. It's only my second one, so I'm trying to come up with simple things that I can show people how to paint. I don't know if this is going to be the right brush. We need a pointer brush. Alright, so here's the creative freedom too, is do you want your mushroom tall and pointy? Do you want it kind of like wide? You know, I think I'm feeling something for me to consider is how much we're gonna have to layer on top of this blue to make it red. But I think it's gonna turn out alright. Because we're gonna put white spots on it anyway. So, that, give it a little whip that way, and then like this, curve it up. Despite having to paint over top of things, I do like doing it this way better than trying to put a background on top of everything in the foreground. I find that to be ridiculous. For me personally. I'm not trying to diss anybody if that's how they paint. I think it's more challenging that way, and like kudos to anybody who can do it that way. I don't have the patience. I like to, I don't know, slap layers on top of layers. Yeah, that blue is really, really showing through more than I anticipated. So, in the class, what I might have everybody do is continue using this bottom and make their whole mushroom shape with it. But then we're going to have to wait for that to completely dry before we put the red on top. Either way, we're going to have to wait for something to dry to do another layer on top. These are the things I think through. So I want it to be redder. I might have to just do it with the white. Thin layer of white. That being said, we gotta put a sun up in there corner. I think I'm gonna make it orange yellow. Orange yellow sun. Same deal. I'm gonna have to do something about that blue situation. It's alright down here. And when we add the flowers up, it'll be alright. But for this mushroom cap and for the sun, it seems to be a problem. Vroom vroom. I know, it's noisy as hell out here. Thanks for watching. I'm having layering issues with these. I might be doing another one. Maybe what we'll do is that paper towel removal while it's still wet. I didn't catch this stuff when it was wet is my problem. It's salvageable. We're good. Alright. gotta turn it upside down, turn it upside down. So we're adding the grass and the flowers and the stems and all that kind of fun stuff. The foliage. You see this? Drop some of this in while we're waiting for the rest of the stuff to dry. I have to keep in mind too that I am stretching this out over basically a 2-hour time period, so we are looking at lots of drying time here. I'm just trying to not stream this for 2 hours, I guess. Is why I'm rushing myself unnecessarily. This will be a fun time to get people to just kind of like feel the flow with the paint and have a little bit of fun doing squigglies and kind of just playing around a little bit. At this point, they'll probably at least have 1, if not 2 drinks in them, so they should be having a good time regardless. My Sip and Paint also does mocktails, though, so you can get a fancy non-alcoholic drink, too. Are we still vrooming? Hi guys, how's it going? Thanks for watching. I haven't done any painting live stream in a while. Oh no, we got red up in there. Quick, get the towel, get the towel. Dry it off, slap some green back over it. See, this is what happens when I be rushing the process. Here we go. And just put some tufts down there. I like taking the paint and adding a little texture. When this part of the mushroom dries completely, probably add a little grassy pieces like down there, flip it to the side maybe. That's what we're missing. We've got the filler, now we need some personality. Some of the wild grass that sticks out. See, it doesn't hit the same way doing it that way. I gotta do it up. Like it's like flat and weird if I do it the other way. Mm-hmm. These paints do not dry as fast as the other acrylics do. I mean, they're just cheap ones. They're cost effective. That's what we'll call them. Because they work great. Okay, let's see here. We're going to go back into the sun for a second. Big, really fluffy, crazy brush. There is no precision with this brush. That is just all filler. We're gonna have a bee up here. Now that I've got it on the canvas, there's some flowers through here. This is like a lot of green. We're gonna have to put something down there. A little worm or something, maybe? A worm should be easy to do. A little caterpillar? Yeah. A little caterpillar would be cool. I think we could do that. This is dry. We could put the bee up there. It's like street. Oh my god. This is why I don't often stream outside. Not with anything that needs to be heard anyway. Black. Stick our little bee on there. He's a fat bee. There we go. Ah, it's cute. There. guys even see that? He's so tiny. Check it out. There's a little bee. It is a nice day to paint on the porch. Thanks for popping in, y'all. Alan, Bluebird, Rex. I can't see who the other ones are. They're hidden. Okay. Little bee, little bee. I'm going to do a little bee wing. We've got some white. What do you think? It kind of needs one of those little black trails behind them. Like the little black I'm a bee flying trails. I'm a bee, I'm a bee. Which, I would use my brush pen if I was smart, but we gotta use what we got. So I've got two of these tools. Let's see. There, I think that looks cute. Little where I was flying trail. I'm happy with that. Alright, good. I'm pleased with the whole outcome of everything. Just not liking the blue transfer of the paint behind those two, but I can fix that for the class tomorrow. And I can salvage it in the painting by just layering it up so that I can still use this as the example painting. Extend that up. We're gonna put some gill action underneath here too. I certainly don't like that big chunk of red right there. I'm just gonna wipe that completely off. I'm pretty sure I taught the class that trick last time. Someone made a mistake with some paint where they didn't want to put something. I think they did an accidental dip into the wrong color. Don't you worry, we've got a fix for that. have here? I don't know, because my time device is recording. Alright, shaping up well. Let's see, what time is it? Alright. Well, thanks everybody for watching and tuning in. I'm gonna have to let this dry and finish up the rest. I think what we can do though is we can go ahead and put the little worm in at the bottom. I'm gonna put a little worm down here. A little caterpillar. Right. What do you think? 3, 4, 5. Maybe 5. We'll make them a big caterpillar. So a little caterpillar. Need your eyes, we'll give him little eyeballs and legs. Make him orange too. Yeah, it looks like our second layer of red is taking much better. So either way, we're gonna have to do 2 layers of paint. It's coming along nicely with this second little layer of red. 47 minutes. So this is almost done from start to finish in 47 minutes if I add in dry time and talking and chit chat. I think we're good to go because we still have spots to put on here and the flowers to add. So seems like I'm right on schedule. Hey Cody, how's it going? Thanks for popping in. I think that might be the extent of what I can, what I'm gonna do right now until it dries and I can put some finishing touches on, I suppose. I'm gonna do 3 flowers because I like things. Odd numbers. So that's where I'm gonna put my 3 flowers. Let's give you a close up here so you guys can see what's going on. We've got our cute little caterpillar, we've got our mushroom, we've got a bee and a sun. I'm trying to have there not be so much of the same space. I might put another bee up there, I don't know. I struggle with keeping it simple and easy for beginners, yet not boring, so. There we are. That's going to be my spring sip-in paint for tomorrow. Thanks for popping in, and check back for more art stuff. Have a great day.